What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD mobile video. So today we are going to be discussing the Season 1 patch notes. So apparently it's not going to be Season 12. It's actually going to be Season 1. So we're going to reset after this season. So yeah, it's crazy how we're already going to start in year 5. So I think for COD Mobile Chinese, they're usually the ones to get the test server to test out what's going to, I guess, come out for the next season. Of course, you know, for us, we only get the details of what weapon changes there's going to be. Just so you guys know, for this update, there's not really a lot of major weapon changes. It's just, you know, slight little adjustments to certain things. But that's basically it. There's not like a lot of crazy things that's going to change the game in Season 1. So be forewarned, yeah, we're not going to see any nerfs to the Growl or anything like that. But let's actually begin with the first change. So the first change is, of course, the FFAR1. So the upper chest multiplier got increased from 1.1 times to 1.17 times, as well as the first damage range being decreased from 8 meters to 6.6 meters. This obviously doesn't really make too much of a difference, at least when it comes to the two ranges, because I mean, you know, the longer ranges are the ones that matter. So you're basically going to be doing the same amount of damage overall. The only difference now is that the upper chest multiplier, given that it's now increased, you're going to be able to force shot a little bit more consistently at longer ranges, provided that you use the task force barrel. So now we have some adjustments to the Man of War. The first extended mag, which is I think extended mag A, got increased from 30 bullets to 32. And for the large extended mag, or I guess for the, you know, the bigger mag, you do get 38 bullets instead of 35 starting off. Basically more ammo in the magazine for both extended mags on the Man of War. So you're going to have a higher ammo capacity. So as for the Dingo, again, nothing really crazy, just slight increases in movement speed, nothing too insane. I mean, that's not really the main issue with the Dingo, but whatever. So now the next change, this one goes to the Bruin MK9, the 60 round mag. Specifically, they added a special speed buff, or I guess an ADS movement buff for the 60 round mag, and it goes up to 10%. So it does make it a little bit faster when you do use it, but the thing, of course, is that I think the ammo reserve for the Bruin MK9, at least in multiplayer, is still bugged. So, I mean, I don't know. A lot of people have been kind of like thrown off from this gun, mainly because of that reason. You know, doing a change like this won't matter unless you change the reserves. And for me specifically, I've always just stuck to either the 100 round mag or the 200 round mag, mainly because of the lack of ammo. So again, we don't know if this is just by design or that's how it's supposed to be, at least for multiplayer, but I mean, they've tried so many times to fix it, it hasn't happened yet, so they kind of need to get on the ball with this one. So now we move on to the HDR. So the base movement speed increased, went from 4.02 meters per second to 4.15 meters per second. So it does make it a little bit faster when it comes to, I guess, overall movement speed, but that's basically it, nothing crazy. So now as for the Echo, they probably did one of the better changes. I would say this is probably one of the better changes, given that there's not really a lot of crazy ones out there for this update. So the vertical recoil got reduced. That wasn't really much of an issue when it comes to the Echo, because it basically has like no recoil. But the biggest change is the fact that they finally optimized the effective time for the tactical and empty reloads to better fit the animations. So just in case you guys don't know what I'm talking about, and I understand if you guys don't, I mean, this weapon isn't really used that often. It's the fact that when you do reload the weapon fully, even after the mag finally goes into the shotgun, it doesn't really count at times as a full reload. It will basically reset itself if you try to aim or try to do anything else. So even though it looks like you completed the reload, you actually didn't. Some weapons had this in the past. I think the Razorback still has it where you reload fully and it's still, like, I guess technically doesn't count as a full reload, where you have to like reload again because you canceled out too early. It's the same thing with this gun, and it's gotten me killed a few times before, so that's why I kind of refrained from using it ever. So now for the last two gun changes, we do have the PPSH as well as the Maddox. So for the PPSH, they upgraded the lower chest multipliers from 1.1 times to 1.2 times. I did look this up too in game. I calculated, and within the second range or the third, you're going to be able to force shot more consistently when you shoot in the stomach. So now for the Maddox, the range was increased slightly for the first and the second range, so you're going to be able to 4-tap a lot more consistently. Of course, the first range doesn't really matter too much, but given the fact that the Echo Fire mod doesn't really provide any form of range increases, it just basically allows you to, you know, shoot 2 bullets at once. It actually is a improvement, at least for that. But like when it comes to using, you know, the other barrels such as the suppressor barrel or even the extended one, it's just gonna make it a little bit more consistent 4-shot at longer ranges. And speaking of the Echo Fire mod, they did add ADS movement speed, so basically you're gonna have a little bit more speed when you're using this attachment. So this might actually eliminate the use of, I guess, that little one of those stocks that I always use with that gun, basically the agile type of stock. So I might not need to use it if I ever decide I want to use the Echo Fire mod. The thing is that adding this speed buff might make it a lot more ineffective, given that you have to be pretty accurate to hit both shots, especially if you're going to shoot like mid-range. So I don't know if this is actually going to be a very good idea. So now we move on to all the other miscellaneous changes, such as for perks and streaks. For the Wilson, they decreased the fire interval. For the cryo bomb, the effective radius was increased from 4.5 meters to 5 meters, and the slowing effect also got increased for all of you guys that do use the cryo bomb. And actually, for the chopper gunner, they activated some required increase. Okay, so basically they just made this a little bit harder to unlock. For the claw, they decrease the duration by 2 seconds. So I mean, that's usually the one operator skill that I normally use, so I'm gonna have to be a little bit more wise when I'm using this, especially in hardpoint. So for the unit support perk, the shared teammates operator skill charge ratio increased from 40% to 45%, which is actually a pretty big deal. So I was actually helping my friend get I guess golden launchers, or to unlock a specific launcher, and he was using this perk, and he was I was kind of helping him, like, I guess boost for the thing where I would go into like free for all, get some score streaks in, because let's be honest, I mean, how often do people use like score streaks that are easy to destroy? So he ended up like getting a lot of the score streaks that I ended up calling out. So imagine if you use this on, let's say you destroyed like a gunship or something. I mean, there is a good chance that you might actually get that score streak if you destroy it. So, I mean, it's actually a pretty underrated perk. But now, as for the Dauntless perk, the burning damage got reduced from 40% to 60%, and for Shrapnel, they increased the delay to enemies' health regeneration after being hit by explosion damage. So I guess they have some sort of wounding effect for Shrapnel, but as for Dauntless, I mean, that's going to be extremely valuable given that there's a lot of people that spam Molotovs nowadays, so yeah. So that's basically it for the patch notes. I mean, there's not really anything that was too crazy that got changed. I mean, yeah, like this is a mini update season that's coming up, so it's kind of expected. I mean, I was assuming there'd be some nerfs to the Grau or to some other meta weapons, but I guess that's not really going to happen anytime soon. But yeah, I mean, let me know what you guys think down below. Again, I felt like I could have just made this video a little bit faster or just a little less long, because there wasn't really much to discuss. But anyways, have a wonderful day, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.